I'm out of time and all I got is 4 minutes. 4 minutes, hey. I'm out of time and all I got is 4 minutes. 4 minutes, hey. I'm out of time and all I got is 4 minutes. 4 minutes, hey.
Good morning, Ventura, and welcome to another fun-filled episode of Fun with HR, the show where we talk about human resources and feature Ventura.
Good morning, Rosandra. How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you this morning?
I'm doing excellent. What a interesting week we had.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Just yesterday, I had to deal with a couple of things that, of course, were left over from Thursday, which has, prevented me from going to the Business Expo.
Yeah, there was a business expo put on by Dr. Kalani, and it was a really nice event. It was a good event to kind of break the ice for events like that happening in the future. I got to say they did a really good job making sure the tables were spread apart, and the attendance was such that there was good social distancing through the whole event. So it was a very comfortable event to be at, and hats off to Dr. Kalani at Kalani Total Health and all of his staff that did a fantastic job.
So while Jeff was representing the company, I was at the office dealing with client emergencies, like an employee being insubordinate, a termination that was requested. But luckily, we also filled it in with a new hire and benefit administration. So I felt like I had only 4 minutes to save the world.
And often that's the case, but at least we terminated one, but we replaced it with another new hire. It wasn't for the same company, but
Yes.
the net result was
Yes.
the world is
it-
even.
yes, absolutely. I ended the week with a good deed.
Awesome. As usual, looking at articles coming across the internet, and I came across one that was kind of interesting to me because this is based in San Francisco. And as we all know, things that start up in San Francisco tend to trickle down to Southern California eventually. But this is overpaid executive gross receipts tax that was passed. And essentially what it is if the CEO or the highest paid managerial employee earns more than 100 times the median compensation of its employees, then the company is going to face a surcharge where they're going to have to pay a tax based on how much that overcompensation in the views of this bill is. And that could go up to 600 to 1, which means they could be charged up to 6 times whatever their percentage rate is.
Now, before anybody starts to, tear their hair out the way that I would if I had heard this, is the fact that I just want you to know that a lot of things start up north. A lot of things that maybe now we're dealing with, such as sick time and the minimum wage. So only because somebody is in essence talking about this doesn't mean that it's going to become automatic in California. It just means we need to keep an eye on this. Now, lucky for us, today we have somebody that could really talk to us about employment law and how it's going to affect all of us here. So can't wait for one of our guests.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to hear what Marie has to say about that. The segment of the business community that is expected to be affected most by this is going to be hospitality, and they're expecting it to generate between $60 million and $140 million a year, which is going to go directly into the city's general fund. So more to follow.
More to follow, most definitely. So who do we have on today?
Today we have on Aaron Samaniego with Mind Masters. We're going to have Marie Davis, our employment lawyer with Landiger, Verano, and Davis. And we'll also have Genevieve Flores-Haro with Diversity Collective. But we're going to start the show today with Aaron Samaniego. Aaron's somebody that I've known for a long time from a distance. Our paths keep crossing through various chamber events or events that are happening in the community. And I just love the energy that Erin always brings to everything. She's always smiling. She's always just super high energy. And when we decided to do this show, I was going, Erin is somebody we definitely have to have on because we need we, meaning Ventura County, need to know more about Erin. So good morning, Erin.
Good morning, Jeff. Thanks for having me, Rosandra.
Awesome. Why don't we start by you telling us a little bit about you and your family, and did you grow up in Ventura County?
Yeah, I did. I was born and raised here. Love Ventura. Went to Buena High School. Bulldogs, go.
Oh, Buena.
Yeah. Were you our rivals?
No, I grew up in Bell.
Oh, okay. Well,
So you can tell me,
You're good.
Buena, Rio Mesa, and Port Hueneme. I'll go, whoever.
Yeah, so I grew up here, and then, right at the ripe old age of around 20, I split town. Didn't think I'd ever come back, but I did about 6 years ago with my family, and so I'm just super happy to be back where I grew up and that my kids get to grow up where I did, so.
So, Jeff talked about your energy, and I just want you all to know that first and foremost, we are on Facebook Live, so it's something you could definitely go on to. Go to our webpage, Fun with HR. And here's the other thing. I am wearing a tiara today because it's the last weekend of Rosandra Fest. And I brought one tiara, but I didn't bring any more. And I love the way Erin answered. She says, I wear a tiara all the time.
I mean, you got to own your...
Absolutely. Talk to us about
your
how
stuff.
you kind of do that and help others find that.
When I was 19, I discovered personal growth and development, and it literally ignited this fire, passion in me to just make a difference for people. Something clicked, and I just am so committed to people, having what they want in life. And, I'm a champion for women. That's what I call myself. People try to, say, oh, are you a business coach? No, I'm a champion for women. And, really all people, but specifically women. I have a daughter who's 10, and, it's just whatever you want, I want that for you, and we're going to figure out how to get you there. And I don't know. I surround myself with awesome people like you.
Aww.
I engage myself in the business community. I learn. I'm an ongoing learner. I don't know.
So tell us about what you're focusing on right now.
Well, what I'm focusing on right now is actually sort of a new offering. I've been working with women for the last 3.5 years, small business owners and entrepreneurs. And it's been amazing. There's so much about business that we think we need to learn, we need to know. Books galore, and all that's great, but there's so much we already know that we need to be doing as business owners, and we just aren't doing them, and we're not doing them consistently. And so our community of entrepreneurial women is all about just stripping everything back, focusing on the most important, the highest payoff activities that you need to be doing. Most of us are not doing them. We're getting distracted by all kinds of things. And then just being accountable to do them over and over and over again, and within a community that will support you, listen to you, recognize you and celebrate you, because as entrepreneurs, we're on our own, so we don't always have a boss to reward us or bonus us. And so we get to be that for each other. And so that's what we've been doing. And so now we're going to be developing an even juicier, more exciting program. Hopefully we'll be able to launch that in January. And I can't wait to tell everybody about it when it's here.
Wonderful. Well, I have to tell you, the very first time you and I interacted was at the Camarillo Chamber, and from the minute we started talking, you treated me like one of your best friends. And I think that's one of the things that absolutely sticks out in my mind about you, just how warm and welcoming you always are. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you were involved in the Camarillo Chamber? And I know you're no longer the chair for the Women in Business, but it's something that I hope that you could tell us a little bit more about, because there's lots of people out there that want to check them out.
Yeah, like I said, I just have a heart for women. I got involved with the Women in Business through the Camarillo Chamber several years ago, and it's been an awesome experience. It was kind of an emergency. They were like, "Hey, we need a chair. Erin's the one. Like, come on!" And so I jumped in, of course, and it's been great to meet some amazing people. We actually don't exclude men from participating in the Women in Business mixers. Excuse me. But we have a great chair now, Jay Bart, who's going to be one of your guests coming up, I heard. And it's an awesome community to support and just continue to lift each other up and connect. And that's just what's so important about networking to me, is just those connections. And
So I have to shift gears a little bit and ask you to tell us a little bit about your chief bad sass of Access Therapy Group.
yeah, that was my own title for myself. Facebook doesn't allow you to call yourself, well, anyways.
It's okay. I wear a tiara, you, whatever.
So my husband is also an entrepreneur. He has, he's a co-owner of Access Therapy Group, and it's an in-home physical therapy agency, and they work with the elderly. And so I think I'm the heartbeat of that company, and so I gave myself that sassy title, and I own it proud. But yeah, it's awesome. I like to tell people, because me and my husband are both self-employed entrepreneurs, that like when you connect with what you care about and what you want your life to be for and your career, you can make a great living, and you can do it raising kids and owning a home and all that, So.
Well, I wanted you to tell us about this, because what you sent to us said, oh, and by the way, we're hiring.
We are hiring physical therapists, physical therapy assistants, occupational therapists. We cannot find enough people. There is such a demand. They work with the elderly, and as you can imagine, the kind of environment we have been in last year and a half has really impacted the elderly tremendously. So they are in great need of therapy. And we can't keep up with the demand. We need more therapists.
Yeah, the senior population, I think, is the segment of the population that suffered the most. I know that Rosandra's parents both love to go to the Y to get into the therapy pool there, because, just the warm water and movement, it was so good for them, and for the longest time that was not available. And
Yeah.
So my parents are very introverted, as I am. And so one of the things that they have been able to do is go to the Y, they create friends, and it's just really nice to see the community. When all of this happened and COVID happened, it was so wonderful to see them really pick up technology of all things. Like all of a sudden, they're more social on social media than I am. Like you could find them. Don't try and message them, because they will actually answer you, and they will tell you about everything they're doing, and they will walk you through the house and introduce you to Chester. Chester, by the way, the love of my life. I'm sorry, Jeff. Chester Peabody was very angry with me because I didn't wish him a happy puppy day. But all of this is a result of things that we weren't really expecting them to do. It's like this is how they almost adapted to the limitations. So what you're doing for the elderly it's amazing. I actually wanted to start working with Mom, because she figured out a way to craft with some of her friends while she was on Facebook Messenger.
That's so great.
And I mean, we go to Michael's, we do all this stuff, and she's sitting there trying to figure out how to show them. And by the way, some of the people she's talking to, just to let you know, they're not in Camarillo. They're not even in Ventura County. They're my family in Guatemala.
Oh, wow.
They're my family in New Jersey and New York. So this is definitely something that, we'll all have the same, Christmas presents for each other, because we're all crafting together. But it's nice.
they're all making the same projects.
That's right. That's right.
I know it's kind of funny when COVID started and we actually were working from home. I was walking to the kitchen one day and I heard Carmen, Rosandra's mom's tablet start to ring. I go, what the heck? And she answers it and she starts talking to somebody. I go, how are you doing that? She was Facebook Messenger. I mean, you could do that? And I go, she goes, yeah.
Let
What's
me
the matter
show
with
you
you?
how.
She's teaching you how.
She's teaching me
Yeah,
how to.
it's
That's awesome.
wonderful. It's wonderful.
It is.
And the thing about all of this, though, is that, like you're saying, the physical therapy, because like we said, they would go to the Y, and they don't have that option anymore.
Yeah.
And of course, part of that is also, even if they could, and even if something happened where they needed therapy, where would they go? Because at this
Right.
point, we're still under COVID protocol.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's hit us all. However, Erin, tell us, Tell us, tell us, tell us. If people really wanted to know a little bit more about Mind Masters, about how you can be a champion for them, about just in general, how do they get a hold of you?
I'm all over social media, so you can find me at MindMasterInU. And mindmasterinu.com is my website. And that's just do what Jeff and Rosandra's parents do. Just message me or
Oh my goodness.
Follow me.
They will.
Aaron answers.
I will totally answer.
Plus, you can also, you have a great Instagram following. And
Yeah.
I have to say that all else, the next mixer that we can have in person, you could certainly see you there. But
Yep.
either way, amazing. Thank you so much for everything you do.
Oh, you're welcome. I almost forgot to. We actually have a book club that we just started.
Oh, tell
So
me about that.
It's super cool. So the first book we're reading is Get Rich Lucky Bee. I won't say the whole word because it's a curse word, but it's super exciting. So our first book club meeting is next week, and I'm really excited. So,
Wait, where do we get this book?
I mean, anywhere, Amazon. It's I think the author's Denise Duffield Thomas. She's an Australian author and a super
How
lucky
do we join
bee.
your book club?
Just go on social media, find me there at MindMasterNU. And there's the Facebook invites. There's
Because I have
information on
about
Instagram.
an hour or so available between 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning that I
Oh.
think I could fill with reading.
Great. It's an awesome book. I highly recommend it.
Yeah,
To channel
just-
your inner.
Just
Inner
message Aaron.
Just message Aaron.
Yeah.
She
message me.
answers.
Well,
Not at that time.
no, I'm not at 2 in the morning. So, thank you so much for having me, guys.
Awesome. Thank you
for
Appreciate
being
you.
here.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for asking me.
And we'll have to have you back before you start your new company
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that we could get the word out about that.
Cool. I love that. I'm excited.
Yeah, so let us know.
Thanks.
Fun with HR is brought to you by the HR Firm. You can reach them at 805-835-FIRM. That's 805-835-3476. Because if you have employees, you have issues. Thank you.
Every business owner knows employees can be your biggest asset and your biggest liability. That's why you need to know for sure that your company is compliant with today's ever-changing laws. The HR Firm is the premier human resource consulting firm in Ventura County, specializing in working with small to mid-sized companies. The HR Firm provides everything you need to keep your company compliant, from handbooks to policies and procedures to workers' compensation claim management. We've got you covered. They offer a complimentary 1-hour consultation for new clients. As your local HR consultant, they're just a phone call away. For more information, contact them at info@thehrfirm.com or at 805-835-3476. Because if you have employees, you have issues. Hey employers, are you tired of spending your valuable time posting jobs on the job boards? Are you tired of looking through resumes to find that one diamond in the rough? Your time is way too valuable, so let the professionals at Atharva Workforce find that diamond in the rough for you. Spend more time on your business and less time looking for those employees. Call Atharva Workforce at 805-826-0033.
So we were talking last week with some friends, and as you know, we asked the question, who was your favorite nonprofit? And because we want to continually have someone's opinion, actually we want to just know what people's opinion is, we've continued to ask these questions. And so just yesterday, we started to ask this week's question, which is, if you had 24 hours to spend in Ventura County, what would you want to see? What is the must go-to eating place? And because again, I don't want to spoil it for everyone. If you're friends with Jeff, if you're my friends on Facebook, if you've already liked Atharva Workforce, the HR Firm, why don't you head on over to our Facebook page at Fun with HR, and we're going to post the question and share with us your opinions. I have to say, some of the things that I've heard already are amazing. Some people want to definitely make sure that when visitors come to Ventura, that they don't miss out on Spencer McKenzie's, for example, while others say, hey, Corrales, you cannot go anywhere else without that. And for some of you that are in Oxnard, Cielito Lindo was also one of the places that I was just told about yesterday. But again, go onto Fun with HR and tell us what it is that you think makes Ventura County a must-see destination.
Hey, Rosandra, we're Facebook Living this show today on our Fun with HR page, and we have 2 people listening, and we were kind of making fun of them earlier, saying that.
Is it
they
my
were
mom
probably
and
your
dad?
No, it's not your mom and dad. And they wanted to make sure we knew it wasn't your mom and dad. They actually messaged us, and it's Ashley Pope and your friend Joe Martin are listening in.
Joe,
Yeah,
Ashley.
we haven't heard from Joe in a
I
long
know,
time.
I know.
So,
Wow.
Rosandra,
Wait
who-
a minute. Wait a minute. My mom and dad are not listening?
No, they're not. We're going to have a talk to them
Okay.
after. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, Rosandra, who do we have on next?
So I have to tell you that the person that we have on next is Genevieve Flores Haro, and she is the president of the board of directors for Diversity Collective Ventura County. So let me tell you a little bit about this group from my perspective. The HR firm has been involved with Diversity Collective Ventura County for about 3 to 4 years now, and it has been our honor to not only support, to always be there, but to also see you grow and to see how it's a much needed community that is finally receiving some much needed programs that are accessible. So before I bring Genevieve on, I also want you to know that they happen to have made their executive director, Tess Allen, just recently. They named her, and I love that story because she just also happened to be their first employee. So it was one of those things that I just absolutely love to see the development.
A true success story.
Absolutely, and I can't wait to hear what else they're up to. Genevieve,
Hi, good morning.
good morning, welcome. Welcome with Fun with HR.
Fun with HR.
I know, who knew, right?
I did.
I think Genevieve's had some fun with you.
Yes,
over the years.
absolutely. Well, yes. Well, I thought it was fun, maybe not so much Genevieve.
Oh, no, it's always fun. Barrel laughs.
But tell us, as far as Diversity Collective, how have you all been? What have you been up to?
Yeah, so we've been a little busy. So Diversity Collective was founded in 2014, and part of the founding at that time was to bring back Ventura County Pride. Back in 2014, Ventura County had been without a Pride festival, so the group, self-organized with some grassroots community leaders. And since then, we've been the home of Ventura County Pride. And so just last weekend was Ventura County Pride. And we had about 5 different events. It was a mix of online, in person, just such goodness. And it was great to be in community. We actually did a Pride Promenade takeover of downtown Main Street last Saturday.
Oh, I saw some of the posts about it, and it looked like so much fun.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we did Pride virtual last year, and there's just something about just being in person, right? Just being in
Right.
person and having, drag queens like clacking their fans and just dancing with
love
like
drag
kids.
queens.
And yeah, no, it was great. It was great.
Oh my goodness. I have to say that we were of course doing other things, and we did like a touch and go in a lot of ways, but everything looked like so much fun. Everything looked like it was just amazing, and I wanted to bring you here because last week, because we do random things now, because HR is not enough, so we just stand on the corner sometime and ask questions. And last week, the question that was being asked is favorite nonprofits, and I think I must have jumped up and down and like hollered and was so happy. The first 2 people that we asked, I believe, said DCVC.
Oh, great.
And I said to Jeff, this is what I want to feature. This is what I want people to know, because it's not very well known that we have so many nonprofits, but the nonprofits that are here, I would love for them to be here to stay, and I want them to have a little bit of this is what we do. So I was kind of hoping that you would share with us some of the programs and services that DCVC offers.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, kind of to back up a little bit even further, with DCVC, we have undergone a mission change and a vision change. We've undergone a strategic plan, and for those who don't live in the nonprofit world like I do, those things are important, right? I think for so long it was, let's bring back pride, right? Let's have a community resource center, and all those things were achieved. But now with a strategic plan, we're able to be more intentional about the work that we want to do. And so, with that mission change, we've shifted our mission to be more precise. And so our mission is to provide advocacy, safety, visibility, and wellness for our LGBTQ community here. And we do that through our programs. And so, like I mentioned, we're home to a community resource center. It's a physical space here in Ventura off of Portola Road. And with that space, we're able to be in community, I think COVID notwithstanding, right? But,
Right.
We're home to different partner agencies out of there. There's Just Improv, Black Lives Matter Ventura County has an office there. The Coalition for Family Harmony does LGBTQ counseling out of our office. And then we have our own programming. And our own programming, we kind of break it out into activities-based groups. So we've got Little Unicorns, which is actually meeting today, and it's our group for children aged 9 to 13. We've got Rainbow Umbrella for youth 13 to 24, and we've got the Pride Nook, which is our adults group. It started off as a book club, and now, because of the pandemic, people just want to be in community, and it's a space that's not a bar or a club. And no shade on that. Like, I love my bars and my clubs, but sometimes you want a space that doesn't involve those kinds of things. And so that's a space that we've created. And then new this year, we've added intentional and specific Latinx Spanish-speaking outreach, and it's called La Zona Rosa, and that's very, very new for us. Very new for us to be outreaching to that population.
Sure.
So we're really excited about that. And then as far as other programming, we offer monthly HIV, my alarm, monthly confidential and free HIV screenings, as well as PrEP and PEP navigation for community members. And so really excited about that. And last year, I don't know if a lot of folks know, we were involved in our county census outreach. And so trying to bring in that civic engagement for the LGBTQ community. And this year, we are working on vaccine outreach for the LGBTQ community.
Do you still have your Toastmasters group going?
Yes, so Toastmasters, they meet at our center. So it's a separate group, but we're community partners, and they occupy the space with us.
Awesome.
So I know that it's going to be a little bit touch and go for a while as far as big events such as your gala. But certainly I know that the HR firm has donated, and also you're always taking donations, you're always taking volunteers. If anybody would like to come volunteer, who would they need to reach out to?
Yeah, for volunteers, for just staying connected with us, to even sign up on our weekly newsletter, you can reach us at info@diversitycollective.org. As well as on our website, diversitycollective.org.
Wonderful. And just so you all know, volunteering is not so much just showing up. They do have a vetting process. So we definitely want to make sure that we provide a safe environment for everyone. And it's something that I think we all need to do. I wanted to kind of bring you back, though, to the HIV screenings. When do you have those?
Those are on Mondays, and I'm a bad board member right now because I'm forgetting on the spot.
Sorry.
Need my coffee. But those are typically on Mondays. But again, what's cool about our website is that you can actually go, there's a link on our website where you can program the appointment yourself. So you don't even have to call us. You don't have to text us or anything. There's a calendar there, and you can program yourself. I think it's the third Monday of the month.
Wonderful. Well, the reason I ask is because it's such an amazing program, and the process is very confidential, so we don't have to worry about anybody, spilling tea. And more importantly, it's just something that if it's something that needs or you want to get done, there's a resource. And DCVC has always been a resource, and I'm just so proud to have you here and make sure that people know about you.
Oh, absolutely. And I think just to kind of underscore the testing, right? I think a lot of folks might not be aware, but here in the county, we actually had a resurgence of HIV, new HIV and AIDS cases. And so I think now more than ever, it's important to know your status, and we're here and we're ready to help you with that.
The programs, when you were talking about that, we kind of went over those real fast, but I know we've been there having meetings with the board over there, and some of these programs have been going on. I know in particular we were there one time when Rainbow Umbrella was meeting, and also the improv group was meeting. And just the energy and enthusiasm that comes from the room when they're in there is just such a great thing to experience. I just totally enjoyed those.
So in addition to that, we also have so many there that I think just you could take away with you, not just the information. I have to tell you, right in the middle of my desk is a Love Rock.
Oh yeah, the
Oh, yeah.
rocks.
I love the Love Rock, and I mean, I know I'm wearing a tiara, but I could always hear, and actually it's Tessa's voice that I often hear that say, "You rock," or "I got your back," or "You shine," or anything like that. And so every time I look over, especially because as we all know, HR is oftentimes not the funnest thing, although I find it fun and I enjoy it, I still need a little bit of let's get going here. And those Love Rocks. Tell me about the Love Rocks.
Yeah, and that was actually a Tess idea. I take no credit. Tess is the one that brought that to the resource center, and they're just these rocks that Tess and some of her crew, they paint, and they've got these positive messages on them.
Absolutely,
right?
I love them.
Yeah, I think I've got one that's like the higher the limit. See, I'm not remembering. It's good though. It's and it's just like, yeah, when you need that pick me up, like when your coffee isn't doing it for you at 2 p.m. on a Thursday, like it's just you matter, and that's important, and that's the vibe that we want to give and provide for community members.
My intention had been completely to take that and give it to somebody, and it never left. It never left me. It was my rock.
It's your home. It's a home. Yeah.
It's my rock. But just recently, we had a person who just kind of needed a little bit of a pick-me-up, going through some really rough patches. And I just happened to visit DCVC and talk to Tess, and I saw the rock that was absolutely perfect for him. And I have to tell you, it made a whole difference, not only that day, but for the rest of the week. And even now, I can still hear him saying, you know what, it gets tough, but that rock makes a big difference. So we need more Love Rocks.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we got the Love Rocks. And then one of our coordinators for our youth, actually, it's not a rock, but there's like little slips of paper. And it's cool that the youth like write to each other. And it's just affirming messages, right? And I think we need more of that. I think with all the craziness that's going on, we just need more of that affirmation and that positivity. And just for the youth to be able to do that for each other, I think that's been great.
I think I need that in the office.
I think that would be a good thing, and I'm going to steal your rock next week.
Ooh, watch out. Watch out.
So when my rock goes missing and I'm tearing Ventura apart,
Just look on my desk.
Oh, okay. Fine.
It'll be there.
Fine. Okay. I won't do that then.
Fair enough.
Wonderful. Genevieve, I want to thank you for spending some time. I know you're a very busy person, and more importantly, I know you have so much on your shoulders that you've yet to still accomplish. And we're only at, 8:30 in the morning, and I bet you've done more today than most people.
Oh, thanks.
But again, give us the information for DCVC.
Yeah, so again, people can reach us at info@diversitycollective.org. We're on social media. So Instagram handle is diversity_collective. On Facebook, it's Diversity Collective VC. And our website's diversitycollective.org.
Say hello to our friend Selena Bracamontes watching us.
Woohoo! Oh, no.
And-
Selena is my
Our
secret
insurance-
admirer.
Well, she's our insurance
She's my
agent
secret
also,
admirer.
Yeah,
Oh.
she's your stalker.
No, secret admirer.
Okay,
There's a
secret
difference.
admirer. Genevieve, thank you so much for coming on today. We really appreciate the mission of DCVC and are happy to be supporters of your
Absolutely.
organization.
I was so happy to do this work with y'all. Thank y'all so much for this space. And
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fun with HR is brought to you by Atharva Workforce. You can reach them at 805-826-0033. Let the professionals at Atharva Workforce find your next diamond in the rough.
Sun is shining in the sky. There ain't a cloud in
If If you have employees, then it is your responsibility to keep them safe. That means written rules and procedures and processes all in place. If you don't have an illness and injury prevention program, a COVID prevention program, safety program, or emergency action plan, you could have Cal OSHA knocking on your door with a notice of violation and fines in hand. But don't worry, you're not on your own. The HR firm can walk you through the safety maze to get your company compliant, all while helping you keep your employees safe. And remember, these need to be written and distributed to employees. They offer a complimentary 1-hour consultation for new clients. As your local HR consultant, they're just a phone call away. For more information, contact them at info@thehrfirm.com or at 805-835-3476. The HR Firm, because if you have employees, you have issues. Finding people to add to your team can be difficult when you don't know where to start. Do you even have a job description? Do you know how much you should be paying them? Do you even know where to find the right people for your team? Let the professionals at Atharva Workforce help you get started and find your next star employee. Spend time on your business, not searching for that new star employee. Call Atharva Workforce at 805-826-0033.
Welcome back to Fun with HR. Rosandra,
Yes.
last week we were talking about AB 22 and mandatory COVID vaccinations, and we teased that we were going to have our go-to employment attorney on the show.
Yes. Well, let me just, before we allow her to talk, let me just tell you a little bit about why she's our go-to. As some of you know, I've been doing HR now for 25 years, and since those of you are on Facebook Live can see how awesome and young I look, yes, I did start at 12. But HR could only take you so much, and I could do the best job that I can, but there's just no guarantees. And sometimes you just need somebody that is going to advocate for you and know the laws. And not only that, but is within our community. And when I looked around, yes, there's very few really good employment attorneys, but I'm really very proud and honored to call Marie Davis my friend, and to know that if I ever have any issues, I generally pick up the phone and she answers. For me, it's a big deal when people answer because they're giving me their time. And they're really, it's not so much that I'm great and she's great, it's we're just really good together, and you're just going to see exactly what I mean. Welcome to the show, Marie.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Good morning.
So Jeff kind of teased us about AB 22, and I kind of don't want to start there. I kind of want to start with this whole vaccination and COVID, because that's what I think people really want to hear about.
Great.
I know.
Start there.
But see, this is like you get it out of the way, because that way, these are the questions that are coming up. And that way we can then, if there's time for follow-up, there's time for follow-up. But I want people to hear from a really reliable source what they can and cannot do.
Wait, are you saying we're not reliable?
No, we are. We are. But oftentimes people will go, well, where do you get your information from? And I have to say, I basically sleep with the labor code under my pillow, and I love it, and I could possibly tell you what things are. But again, we're human resources, and sometimes people need to hear it from an attorney.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you so much for that very easy question this morning. When it comes to mandatory vaccines, we don't have any solid case law that we can look back to really answer the question. So I'm not a constitutional attorney, but let me just start with the very basics. Your constitutional rights can really only be infringed upon by the government. There's lots of exceptions, but I'm just trying to make it simple. So the government can infringe on your constitutional rights, but private businesses can only go so far when it comes to constitutional rights. When it comes to mandatory vaccines, you first look at what the government's doing. So the state of California, for example, is saying that healthcare employees and public school employees need to either be vaccinated or tested on a weekly basis. So that's the government. What's the government doing? But I keep getting the questions from the small businesses, from the hospitality industry, and from private sector saying, what can I do? Now, technically, you can do whatever you want at this point because we don't have any laws that say you can't. But there's a lot of backlash certainly coming from individuals who want to patronize your restaurant. Are you going to require them to have vaccines? And then employees that say, hey, wait a second, I've been your loyal employee now for 10, 15 years, and you're going to fire me just because I don't want this vaccine, and I don't know if it's safe, or can you guarantee my safety? And, you know, the response to that is, really, your safety can never be guaranteed at work, right? There could be a fire, there could be a terrorist bomb explosion, there can be an outbreak of E. coli or something. Your safety's never guaranteed. But can you force somebody to put a substance in their body in order to keep their job? It's something that we've never dealt with before. And whereas you can certainly tell your employee, you have to come to work at 9 o'clock because I open at 9 o'clock. And they can't tell you, well, that's infringing on my constitutional right to sleep in, and I don't want to come to work until 11. You know, you are allowed to make your own rules for your own employees. So I know this is a really long answer,
No,
but
it's okay.
technically the answer is yes, you can. But I know the lawsuits are coming.
Yes.
So I know that's why Google did it first. That's why Target did it, because they have a nice little hefty litigation budget built into their annual plan. So yeah, there will be lawsuits. I don't have a crystal ball to say what those lawsuits are going to be based on. I think it's going to be an invasion of privacy argument. I mean, if you want me to ask, because it's about my body, my choice, right? You can't force me to do something. But we're going to have to really just let it play out in the courts. So can you do it? Yes. Can you fire somebody for not getting a vaccine? Yes. But you're probably going to get sued. And until we have
I like that.
an answer from the courts, that's the best answer I can give you.
I like that. I like that you said yes, but, and I want to make sure that everybody heard the yes, but.
There's
and
always a but.
of course,
Yeah.
of course, and it's just like with the masks, right?
Well, let's go back a little bit though. The FDA has formally approved the Pfizer vaccine. Up until now, these vaccines have been experimental, and I kind of understand why somebody may not want to put an experimental drug into their body. But now that it's formally, at least for Pfizer, formally been approved, will that make the employer's argument any stronger in requiring the vaccine?
I mean, potentially. You know, I can only go back. I mean, my mother and my husband actually remember getting forced polio vaccines in the cafeteria at school. And, you know,
Absolutely.
I was just a decade outside of that. So, you know, yes, maybe when the approval from the FDA comes down for the other
Sure.
vaccines, there will be more of a acceptance of getting forced vaccines. But I also know that there's going to be lawsuits. So
Sure.
we just need to,
Sure.
we need to play it out.
Sure. And that we've seen it. I mean, even with just something that is not invasive, like the face masks. I mean, we
Yes.
have people that have been told. I know we have clients that have been told by patrons, it's my right not to wear a mask. And I love the answer, because their answer was yes, but we've also accommodated by, can you call ahead? Can we deliver? I mean, there's all of these things that have been done to
Curbside.
accommodate that is in addition to that, where the person doesn't have to come in, because again, it's not just about one person, it's about everybody else.
And
So-
I
Sure,
wanted
go
to add
ahead.
on that about those accommodations. Certainly, you know, I also, you can, when you say you're being discriminated against, I also want to, this is just my short little law school for the day. You can only be discriminated on the basis of sex, age, religion, gender, you know, and about 15 other things. But those are the big ones, you know, race.
20 in
yeah.
total in California.
But those
yes.
are the big ones. So you can't say I'm being discriminated against because somebody's telling me I have to have a vaccine card to walk into a private business.
Or wear a mask.
Or wear a mask. That's actually not the right word. It's sort of like the Princess Bride. You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means, you know, and it doesn't. However, you can't discriminate against somebody for bona fide held religious beliefs or a medical condition. But let's say you have a bona fide religious belief to walk into, you walk into a business naked. You go, well, here is my bona fide religious belief that God wants me to walk around naked like he made me. And you, as the business owner, don't have to accommodate that because it would pose an undue hardship on your business to allow this
Sure.
person with a bona fide held religious belief to be naked in your establishment. So there's just a lot of, certainly people have rights, but so do private businesses. And so
Okay.
we have to figure out how to make the two come together.
I just want to clarify this. So, I have a business, and somebody says I have a religious, it's against my religion to wear a mask. I could still say, I'm sorry, but you cannot enter here despite your religious objection without a mask.
True, because you have the right to, if a reasonable accommodation poses an undue hardship on you, and if that's going to pose an undue hardship, you can make other accommodations.
Okay, now, suppose this person got a note from their priest or pastor saying it is against their religious beliefs to wear a mask. Would you still have the right to say, I'm sorry, I understand this, but you cannot enter without a mask?
Well,
I believe so, but you want to walk carefully, tread lightly.
As
in
with
that
everything,
situation.
I think what it comes down to is courtesy. So I love Rotary because they have the 4-way test, and I apply it to my life. Is it what's beneficial to everyone involved, first and foremost? Is it fair to everyone? So, and I could go on to the others, even though I'm technically not a Rotarian, but I live the life every day. But certainly, thank you for the coin, Jeff. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is the 4-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Show off. I kind of think about that when I look at the masks. Is it for me? And again, I have parents that I love dearly. I'm very protective over, and I want them to be safe. I want to be safe. I don't want to bring anything home. Don't get me started. It's just something that we're very passionate about. But I also know that businesses are afraid. They're very afraid, and that's why it was important for us to ask that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to switch gears a little bit, because one of the things that people don't realize is that, COVID didn't stop the legislature from, working, right? It just didn't. So last year, I think it was, what was it, about 700 laws that came into effect in January. And I think you will agree with me, Marie, that 700 seems like a lot, but in your world and my world, that's kind of, minimal compared to other years. So 2022 is just around the corner, and seeing that today is the last weekend of Rosandra Fest, I think we need to talk about 2022.
Absolutely. And when you said that you put the labor code under your pillow, you can really put a pillowcase on it and just use it as a pillow. Because
Absolutely.
it just keeps getting thicker and thicker. But yeah, because of COVID pay already being extended, I wouldn't be surprised if COVID pay wouldn't be extended again. It was supposed to expire September 31st. Wouldn't be surprised if there were laws potentially about wearing masks and getting vaccinated. We'll see all the new laws that come out in October. And whether or not, well, I guess we have to get through the recall too.
Right. I mean,
So it's going to be a very interesting 2 months, actually.
I mean, for me, I have a poli-sci degree, so for me, I kind of look at all this, and I mean, it's like Christmas. I love seeing the process at home. We sit around and we debate normally, what is on the ballot, which is kind of scary.
It's a knockdown, drag out. I've
You-
witnessed that a few times.
You bet. My mother is our referee, and she literally starts the conversation with saying, there will be no name calling, there will be no throwing of anything, and you have to remember you're still family at the end of all this. Now go. So it's interesting. But 2022 is going to be even more interesting for employers with everything that's going on. How do people keep up with all this? And people that don't have access to myself or to you, it's really hard. But one of the reasons why we decided to do Fun with HR is because we know sometimes we need to have a platform to get the information out to people. But we also need to let them know that we're here in your community. Your community is here for you. So how do people get a hold of you?
Well, there's lots of different ways. We are actually revamping our website right now, but our website is landdaggeresq.com. And I'll just spell that out for you. It's land like you walk on, egg like you eat, ERESQ.com. My email address is Marie at MARIE at LandegerESQ.com. I'm also on LinkedIn and Facebook. That's really, you just need to find a competent and trustworthy attorney that can answer some of these questions. But again, with all these new laws, you have to give the attorneys a break too, because we don't know everything.
So that's a good point, because it means if I'm calling you at 10 a.m., don't expect an answer by 10:02.
Well, not if the answer is, can I, force my employees to get vaccinated and not get sued. I'm not going to be able to answer that one. But
so
I can.
A lot of the questions that I get that I know are very much some things that we often work on together is those leaves, the leaves of absence, because there's just so many of them. So if that would be a great example of when people want to tread lightly, but at the same time, they want to do it correctly. So if you're wondering, if you have any questions, again, the HR firm is always here to be of service, but you need to understand that we don't always have the answers, but when we don't, we have very competent people that we turn to. And it's again, one of the things that I love to do. We often will say, hey, it's a Marie question. And I love it, because that means I get to talk to a friend and we get to discuss these things.
And, and thank you for that, Rosandra. I really appreciate our partnership. And, Rosandra and Jeff are great at helping you through the maze of HR and the 7,000 pages of the labor code. But sometimes you just have, employees get upset, employers get upset, people pull triggers without, wearing the bulletproof vest, and then there's issues. And that's when you do need an attorney to try to resolve those issues before they become bigger problems. So my goal isn't just to litigate or defend, actions that are being filed. I'd rather try to resolve the dispute before it turns into something bigger for you.
Which is always the case. I mean, nobody wants to go through the process of litigating. Because, by the way, what most people don't know is that it's lengthy. Is it not?
Oh, for sure. And they just extended the statute of limitations to 3 years. So again, in 30 seconds, let's say your employee alleges that he or she was harassed today. So, let me say September 1st because it's easier. They have until September 1st of 2024 just to file the DFEH complaint. Once that's filed, they have another year, so 2025, before they have to file a lawsuit. Once that lawsuit's filed, it's now been 4 years. And then it'll take another 9 months just to get a case management conference before you even start doing discovery. Can anybody in this room remember what they were doing even 3 months ago, let alone what they said to somebody 4 years ago?
Yesterday, no.
Yeah, so it's very, very complicated, which is why you want to make sure you have as many documents as possible.
Document, right?
And that's so important. That's probably 80% of our day is asking people, please document what you're talking to me about today, because you're going to need that in the future potentially.
Right.
Do they do it?
Yep.
Sometimes.
Sometimes not. I often get well, remember when I talked to you, didn't you document it? And I always love to remind people I'm not the employer, so they need to.
Right.
It's because when you call me and I have, like yesterday, for example, I had my cell phone, my office phone, email, everything was going off at the same time, to the point where literally I looked up and that rock that I'm talking about was literally the only thing keeping me from just like being frozen. It doesn't happen often. Like in my I love it. I love being very busy. But to see how many people needed me at that one particular point in time, I was glad that I had Jeff. I was glad that Trisha and you and everybody else would have been available for me to just say, hey, I need you guys to step in. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful. So I want to tell you that I know we've been talking about like what you do. Tell me about what you like to have as far as fun.
What's fun? I don't remember. No, I'm here with my wonderful family. I moved here right after I got married. We have 2 wonderful children and a close-knit group of friends. So what I like to do for fun actually is everything that stopped as of COVID. You asked me what I like to do. I love to go on cruises, I love to go to Disneyland, and I love to go out and eat and do trivia at bars. So I haven't been able to do any of those.
Wait a minute.
Whoa. Stop.
I'm hearing a cruise, a princess cruise. Are you
Well,
down?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's
I'm,
do a
I'm
princess
doing
cruise.
a carnival one at the end of October because it's the only boat that's leaving Long Beach. So
Are you doing a 5-day
seven
7
day
day?
with the kids. Yeah.
on the Panorama?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So you asked me, like, those are all things I really like to do for fun. And last year everybody was like, what's wrong with you?
So
Like,
do you
well,
do you do the trivia contests on the ship while you're there?
I do. I have all
course.
kinds of awards for
I just
trivia.
got to let you know, one of the last cruises we went on, Rosandra ended up coming home with 3. Count them,
No,
3
no.
ships on a stick.
There
Yeah, I
were
got
3 ships on a
ships on
stick
a stick.
And
and,
the
a
medal.
medal.
Oh yeah, my husband and I, when last time we did that, they would not let us participate anymore. Or the cruise director would be like, "All right, these 2 can't play. I need 30 other people to try to beat them." So
Well, it was the first time I played Yahtzee. I had never played Yahtzee in my entire life.
okay,
But I have to say that I love it because that's the one thing that I've learned, that when I'm uncomfortable, watch out, because I focus and then that becomes like my thing and I need to master it. So I won a ship on a stick.
congratulations.
So
That's
it was
great.
awesome. I love cruising. I love everything that you say. It's absolutely amazing.
Right.
Well, Marie, we want to thank you for coming on. We really did have a ton more questions, so we are going to have you back on soon.
Yeah, I'll come back anytime you want me. That was
Yeah.
great.
So, Rosandra, episode 4. It's been a month now,
And Rosandra Fest is done.
and Rosandra Fest is done. If you are a registered dental assistant and you are looking for a job, Atharva Workforce has the job for you. So contact them at info@atharva.solutions, and we would love to be able to talk to you. Fun with HR was brought to you by the professionals at the HR firm and Atharva Workforce. We'll see you all next week. Thank you for tuning in. Bye, Facebook Live.